your mouth, better add the respect. Otherwise, pressure gon' be at your neck when I burn you like. This ain't a game, my aim is to throw. I'm much higher than you, like a rocket, a drone. I'm powerful, think of a stone, throw it off in my brain and I'm bad to the bone.
Hello, welcome everyone to another night of the Kart Rider Drift League. We are facing the very end of the round robin stage here for team matches. Just 3 matches left, and we'll be jumping right into those here in a second. Now, that does mean most of the kind of standings have been solidified, but we are going to be battling for seeding tonight. So let's actually jump right in and take a look at the standings so we can walk you through what's in store for tonight.
And as we take a look at the standings, it's no surprise that Gwangdong Freaks is the firm first place. And like Chobra mentioned, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th is what our teams are fighting for tonight. Seongnam, ROX, MIRAENSEJONG, Desperado.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the big one. So all 3 of them are already in the playoffs, but we'll have to wait and see who gets to, end up in which standing and how many matches they will have in store. Taking a look at the predictions, no big surprise here, even for Finale and Always. Although they are tied in match record, I think everyone would agree that in terms of overall performance, Finale has always shown more promise. But hey, we had a ton of upsets on Wednesday, so we'll have to wait and see. So these are the 3 matches. The first 2 will help determine what the exact seeding is for the playoffs coming up next week. And then the last one, it's going to be a battle for honor and see who can escape that last place here of the very first season of the KDL.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting day for sure. I'm really surprised, though, that Seongnam ROX is heavily favored against Desperado, because although Desperado is not a professional team, I feel like they're one of the best amateur teams we have right now, and it just shows why they made it into the top 5.
I mean, absolutely. I don't think you can take anything away from Desperado. However, the first team entering the stage tonight, it is going to be Seongnam ROX, and you brought up a good point, right? I mean, Seongnam ROX, they weren't exactly the shining beacon among the pro teams. A lot of them actually kind of joking and saying, well, we don't really count ROX as a fellow pro team. However, they're also the only team to have taken down the Gwangdong Freaks just this past Wednesday during the round robin. So clearly, they are a power to be reckoned with.
That is certainly what they have shown, and today is a day to really prove that all the way, because Seongnam ROX, they would love to end 3rd in the placements overall, because that would mean that they don't need to play in the wildcard match against some more opponents.
Yeah, of course, that would put them into that lower bracket semifinal right away, and as you mentioned, skip the wildcard match, get to study your opponents one more time, have a little bit more prep. And the same goes for Desperado. So we will be guiding you through exactly what the scenarios are here, but obviously for Desperado, first of all, they're going to have to win. And if they want to get all the way up to 3rd place, they're going to actually have to win 2-0 against Seongnam ROX, and then it still depends on the second match of the night.
Yeah, MIRAENSEJONG would need to lose for Desperado to get into 3rd place, so it's a tough task ahead of them, but this roster, I believe in it. Ghost is a player that has been standing out ever since preseason 2. Then you have Banana to round out your item mode, and honestly, I feel like this is one of our hidden GOAT teams right now.
Yeah, they're a very promising team, and I think we have to keep in mind, I mean, the same goes for Seongnam ROX. They haven't played together for a long time. They've kind of rebuilt here for the very first season of KDL, the very first official season, I should say. But Desperado, they're in the same boat, but with, less of that infrastructure, less of the support, and they've still been showing some very steady improvements, and they will have to face Seongnam ROX tonight to prove themselves. So Seongnam ROX, I mean, they're waving that banner high, of course. They are the ones who broke the undefeated streak of the Gwangdong Freaks. Now they want to carry that momentum here for the last match. Looney
especially standing out to me right now with his speed average ranked right in 1st. So he's going to be an absolute beacon to watch out for today in this matchup. And of course, their item mode has been stellar as well.
Yeah, and just the battle of the Seongmin second round. So last time, of course, Banana's name is Seongmin. Last time it was actually the Seongmin battles of the item mode. Here it's actually Acid Fly in your screens, who's the speed ace for Seongnam ROX. So we won't have a direct Seongmin versus Seongmin battle on stage, as they will be split between speed and item mode. But it's still just a nice little nod to Desperado's previous little taunt there in the match they had just before.
And Desperado, just as our producers are saying, they are crowned the strongest amateur team of our season, and they need to now look for their first win against the professional team in ROX. And if you take a look at the speed average rank here, you can see that Ghost and Striker, these two players will likely be going for that 1-2 today.
Yeah, absolutely. And to me, I actually think it's Striker who really stands out. Funny that they both put in the same taunt. It looks like Seongnam ROX is kind of reading through what Desperado was going to prepare here. But Striker has really started to grow in his own, both in the team matches and the solo matches. His racing has become very consistent, and when he needs to, we've seen that he's able to pull off some of these stunts, you know, the heroics that you need to be able to carry your team across the finish line. So having that extra support right behind Ghost should be a big benefit. We take a look at the speed track list here. Now we should note, of course, that the coin flip went in favor of Seongnam ROX, and they actually chose item priority tonight.
And I think that is a great decision by Seongnam ROX, because here in speed, I do believe that Seongnam ROX is the favorite team. So Desperado, they decided to take Handy Harbor. We love this track. It's very snowbally, followed by Winding Slopes and Facility 5. And I think these are the right tracks for Desperado. It fits their playstyle.
Yeah, they also are quite prone to a lot of accidents, right? And that's why on Wednesday, Wolf actually really wanted to watch some more Handy Harbor. He didn't get it, but we'll get to watch it tonight. Meanwhile, Seongnam ROX, they're not shying away either. They're taking us Construction Chaos right away in round 2. However, round 4, they're slowing things down to what can be a bit of a wider track. I wouldn't say it's exactly like a easy field track. However, you do have a couple options in your build. But we'll have to wait to see if we get there at all, as it is a best of 5 for each mode. We kick things off in speed mode with Village Handy Harbor. The race kicks off with Seongnam ROX in red and Desperado in blue, and right off the bat, quite a bit of congestion actually leaves Free Sky all the way far back in 8th place, not able to recover around the first corner. We'll see if he's able to do any sort of assistance later on during this race.
Yeah, right now you can see Promise's role is to kind of just make sure that this 1-2 can be maintained for Desperado, but it seems like Navi's going to be able to find a way to pass. And Free Sky, he is still far behind, like you mentioned, Will.
Yeah, so Free Sky, it's going to be a big question if he can even catch up to 7th place. Obviously, that can make or break certain standings, but for now, for Seongnam ROX, Navi has to get through to Ghost and Striker. Meanwhile, Promise is doing a great job of keeping Boong, Acid Flight, and Looting at bay 1 versus 3.
Yeah, Promise is absolutely standing out right now, and Navi, you can see him, he's weaving these lines extremely well, and he's getting that draft off Ghost right there. So now, with 1-2 being broken, ROX, it gives them a better shot.
Yeah, Boom just passes by as well, so now neither team has a full advantage in these fights. Seongnam ROX actually taking the entire midfield. If Navi can just break through against Ghost once again, which he did at the end of lap 2, we'll see if he finds an opening. He should have a couple chances. Draft comes in now, goes on cooldown, so we'll have to wait until after the shortcut.
Ooh, Navi got a collision there, but a great recovery nonetheless. And now you can see Boong is coming in, and Navi's trying to draft, but it's not going to work out, and it's all up to Boong right now.
Can't catch up, though. The boost just not coming out in time, and it's going to be Desperado with a clean and steady 1-2 on Handy Harbor to take the lead.
Man, it felt like Desperado, they really knew how to play around this track well, despite having Free Sky with an unfortunate setback. The 1-2 was just so strong that it felt like ROX just didn't have a response to it.
Yeah, huge props to Promise, actually, right?
Yeah.
He kept 3 racers of Seongnam ROX for the entire first lap, and that created so much distance between them and then Ghost and Striker in the first and second place that even though eventually they were able to pass Promise, there wasn't much of the race left for them to really gain much more speed and try to overtake them.
It's awesome to see Striker doing Striker things. Like you said, well, he has been having an amazing season so far, and if he can keep up this level of performance, you know, I would be scared if I was Seongnam ROX right now.
Yeah, and he's also so confident. We've seen it every time he races on stage. See if he can keep that smile as we go up to round 2, though, as this is Seongnam ROX's choice of Desert Construction Chaos.
And off we go into the race this time around. We can see Acid Fly having a phenomenal start here. And Looning is quite far back, but he can get to sweeping right now. So Seongnam ROX in a great position.
Yeah, Looning is also just one of those players who will find that opening, who has mastered his build so well, and even now he's constantly just pressuring to find one, slowly starting to creep up. Meanwhile, Promise still controlling that midfield for Desperado. However, this time, they can't sit on their laurels because they don't have the lead just yet here in lap 1.
And you can see right now, Striker is doing all he can to make sure that 1-2 is not there for Seongnam ROX, because if they can keep a player like Looning behind, I feel like that is a core strategy of ROX that's going the opposite way.
Yeah, Seongnam ROX right now, Boong in the lead. Now, of course, he was in the spotlight in their victory against the Guangdong Freaks, eventually beat out Sungbin in the ace match. Looning just playing it super cautious there, and Acid Fly is going to actually be the one who sacrificed himself as he tries to get a little aggressive. So for all intents and purposes, Acid Fly currently sitting in 8th place. However, Seongnam ROX now a little bit more support with Navi catching up to Boong.
And you can see on the minimap right now that Ghost and Free Sky are quite far behind. So ROX having Boong and Navi in the front, it is a key to their success. Boong needs to first overtake Striker, and if they can maintain a 1-2, that's great news for them.
Yeah, just overtaking that first place alone is good enough. However, Ghost is starting to catch up. As we get near the construction section at the end of the track, Ghost might have an opening, but Navi wants to avoid that. He wants to make sure they get the lead in the first, the 1-2, because if you can get through to the 90-degree turns here at the end, chances are you should be safe unless they go for a Hail Mary play.
Oh, I love the line there from Striker, but Navi's able to find a response, and now it's 1-2 in the back for ROX, and you can see Ghost really applying the pressure, but Navi is unaffected.
Yeah, good recovery. Now Ghost, is he going to go for Hail Mary? No, he realizes all he can hope for is try to catch up and break the 1-2 here in the last jump. He does have a double team boost. He's going to use one before the jump. That should give him off the draft, and he should be able to chain it into a second one, but Navi actually absolutely just keeps up his speed off of the jump. And Ghost, he looked for the best timing that he could, but it's Navi with a better timing on the boost right at the end of the jump, and that will keep that top speed for just a second longer in the air, able to finish 1-2 for Seongnam ROX.
Boong and Navi carrying that match so hard, and I feel like especially for Navi, a lot of the highlight was kind of on him because Boong's job was to just stay in the lead, but Navi, he was able to win in the pressure checks against 2 different players from Desperado, and just winning a 1-2 off that, I gotta give massive props to Navi here.
Yeah, a huge props to Navi. I mean, like you said, he was in the center of attention from both teams. He's able to carry that through. Boong, all he had to do was really just race fast, quick, and accurately, and he did all 3 of those. So we'll see, tied 1-1 now. Will this go the full 5 rounds already in speed mode? Or will one team start to run away with the score here? We return to Desperado's pick in round 3, and they have chosen to take us to Mine Winding Slopes. And they're off to the races here on Winding Slopes. Navi starting to take the lead this time with Acid Fly, and this track generally quite narrow for the entirety, so if you can get the lead nice and early with 1 or 2 members in backup, you should be set. And Looning, he's going to try to avoid colliding with his teammates there, and that does mean he loses a bit of speed, so they have to catch back up to his opponents to apply that pressure.
You can see the gaps are not too huge between all of our players right now, but Winding Slopes is a crazy track. Oh, as I say that, a huge collision on the side of ROX.
Yeah, Acid Fly, he's just not able to enter that bridge at the right angle. He bumps the pillar, and we've actually seen more and more players take some risks before that jump, and they're starting to make that mistake going onto that bridge. Right now, Looning, though, he's doing his best. The draft almost messes up his build, but he's able to recover with a tighter drift right around the corner. Navi, he has to hold on to first place. That's so crucial for them to keep that point lead. They also do have generally a control of that midline, so Navi's okay for now, and they are quite a bit further ahead from Ghost, but he could be catching up here in the hairpins.
Yeah, Striker's doing a great job against Navi, but Navi completely wins that trade there with the phenomenal spin, and with this first place locked in for ROX, it might be the win condition for them.
Na'Vi, just the cleanest spin turn we've seen in the hairpins here on winding slopes. No collisions to his opponent nor the wall. Just absolute domination against Ghost and Striker, bringing home the point lead here for Seongnam ROX.
The form of Na'Vi today is like he's a navigation machine or something. You can't throw this guy off his tracks, and it was actually Desperado looking for the 1-2 angle, and I feel like they might have got that if not for Na'Vi there with the heroic play.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen more and more players just automatically default to that spin turn, but a lot of times it appears that they try to do it because it helps them recover despite colliding with each other.
Yep.
But this time, Na'Vi uses it just to absolute perfection, almost as if he's driving in a straight line through those hairpins. And I mean, you can tell Ghost, you know, not much to say here on that one. You just have to accept defeat. Your opponent simply raced better at the end of that track.
Seongnam ROX is definitely a team we look at being a really proficient team in speed, but today they're looking really scary with Na'Vi right now. 1 round win away from winning in speed set. Let's see what happens here at Track 4 Mexico Touring Round. And the race kicks off in ROX's choice of track, and I know you really like this track, Will.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Mexico Touring Rally. I think it has really the complete collection of aesthetics here in Kart Rider Drift. You know, you start off with the colorful buildings, and then you go into the mountains, eventually a bit of dirt off-road racing. We'll see what happens there. Ghost! He has to do everything in his power to recover, but that does mean he can't actually enter that track at the right angle. Same thing for Striker. I mean, they're losing a lot of speed on these bumps and jumps, and they're just barely trying to recover here in the race.
Yeah, I see why you love this track, Will. It's been such a crazy way to start this one out, and Striker is trying his best to stay up with the pack of ROX, but it seems like ROX is such a good 1-2 condition here.
Yeah, but I do like what Striker did, right? He was still in recovery mode, so he actually makes way for Promise, who was keeping a better top speed with his boost, and Striker just exits on a bit of a not ideal line, able to reset his own angle and build as well, and now a decent control of the midfield here for Desperado. However, they have to break that 1-2, and Looting and Boom, they are attached at the hip as we enter the last sections of this track.
Just as you said, Striker nowhere within the draft range, and you can see Free Sky in the back. He's trying all he can to build that team booster gauge, but it doesn't seem like it's enough for Striker to catch up.
Yeah, Striker wasn't able to get double team boost there. He's just barely holding on to 1 boost each, and I don't think that's going to be anywhere close to enough. Boom and Looting looks so solid, and Striker, he's looking for 1 more boost, and Boom, while he just barely gets a second one right there. Changed my mind on that one. A clean 1-2 across the finish line. That's going to be a 3-1 score here in favor of Seongnam ROX as they take speed set.
The form of Seongnam ROX today was just simply better than Desperado, I feel like. I feel like when we talk about Desperado as a team, we focus on their item mode the heaviest. But their speed was actually really good today. But just as you kept saying, Will, their opponents was just playing even better.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Seongnam ROX, across the board, I think they looked very solid today. Acid Fly, he's actually been showing more and more promise as a bit of a hybrid type of player, or a bit of a sweeper type of player, I should say. You know, even if he's technically a speed ace because he doesn't play in item mode, he's been able to adapt to being in the midfield or even in the back, able to provide whatever advantages he can. So can't fault him for tonight's results. Meanwhile, on Desperado, I think perhaps it's just a result of Ghost, kind of their rising star in speed mode, not performing as well today, right? Everyone else trying to pull the best of their weights, but Ghost not really seen on the leaderboard, so they'll have to recover coming up in item mode.
So with that speed set loss for Desperado, now they're unable to get 3rd place in the standings. So Desperado, they have to fight for a 2-1 here if they want to try to contest the 4th place. And now we can see the item aces coming in.
Yeah, I mean, 4th place, you should still get that advantage in the picks and bans of the tracks, right, in the rounds going into that wildcard match. So Desperado still something worth fighting for here. You know, Ghost will be sitting out as the speed ace, and Banana, the captain and item ace, will be coming in. 2 teams with a very notable and designated item aces, right? We've got Banana on this side and Lens on the side of Seongnam ROX. But so far, Banana has definitely shown a bit more prowess here overall in the season for item mode.
Yeah, but I also love Lens's name. I feel like that's a fantastic name for an item ace, because it just sounds like a kart rider item.
Yeah, actually, yeah. No, I get it. We've got the scanner as well now coming into this season. But let's take a look at the track list. And we're going to the graveyard tracks first. Dark Castle coming up for Seongnam ROX. Now, let's keep in mind, again, they chose item priority. So they really wanted to prioritize that Dark Castle right off the bat.
Yeah, Seongnam ROX favoring the pace-oriented tracks here, and you can see Desperado, they went for the Polar Half-Pipe, the Cogwheel Crush, and you can say these are also pace-oriented tracks, but I feel like it does have a different vibe from what ROX picked.
Yeah, I would agree, especially Half-Pipe. I mean, while, yes, tempo does give you a bit of an advantage, there's very clearly a timing play to be had, you know, in the last lap over on the shortcut above and around the last corner. So we'll keep our eyes on that, but for now, we go to the graveyard. We're going to get ready for round 1 on Dark Castle. And they're off.
Not really.
Nope, not really. Nope, just kidding. I had to eat my words there.
Boong is like, where are my teammates?
Well, five out of 8 are off, so it does look like we're going to have to do a quick reset here. And, yeah, we can just see the admins are on stage, just double-checking what's going on. So we'll get back to you, but it does look like perhaps it's something going on Lens's seat. So we'll let you know when we have an update, but this is why you got to pay attention. And for anyone watching the stream right now, this is why you can't ever look away. The races end, you know, anywhere from 1 minute 30 seconds to 2 minutes and 30 seconds. You have less than, what is that, 180 seconds to catch the full race of each track, right? That's how fast Kart Rider Drift is.
Yeah, I mean, Kart Rider Drift is getting faster each season, and it seems like Lens is having an issue with his keyboard, which should be a quick fix, because if they can't resolve it, I mean, they just got to replace the keyboard, right?
I mean, usually also a lot of pro players, they'll have backups, so We'll see, though. Perhaps, ideally, it's just a quick plug and replug, but we'll let you know when we have solid updates. But we can talk a little bit more on some of the stats that we saw earlier, right? I mean, I think the biggest thing is Desperado, they have the most successful attacks, right? They have the most attack success rate here in item mode throughout the round robin stage so far. And that just goes to show that they're always being able to cycle through their items. I think that's the biggest thing, because, you know, your opponents could always have shields and you just wouldn't succeed. But if you're able to just constantly out-pressure them and double up on your attacks, that's going to work. However, I believe what we saw was that Seongnam ROX actually has the best defense rate against attacks as well. So a bit of a, you know, spear and shield type of battle as we see Banana just absolutely grooving out on stage.
Yeah, well, I want to hear the comms, man.
Yeah, what do you think he's singing? And also, do you think his teammates enjoy it or not?
I mean, if you take a look at his teammates, they don't seem too entertained as much as we are right now.
Yeah, Friska does not look too pleased, but he also looks like he's somewhat used to this. So I gotta imagine it's something that happens a bit in scrims. Len's still trying to figure something out here. So just coordinating with the admin, so we'll keep you guys posted on that.
Yeah, but you mentioned a great point about how we have a spear versus shield type of matchup going on. But a big reason as to why Desperado is having so much success with their attacks is because they're actually the first place in the average items acquired out of all the teams here in KDL right now. So if Desperado can deny a lot of the items away from ROX, I mean, you can't really defend yourself without items. So maybe if Desperado can keep that up, they do have the edge.
Yeah, you also have to consider how much of that is them denying their opponents versus them being willing to take the items just a second later, right, to make sure you always get double items. And that means they clearly have confidence that they're able to get double item boxes for most racers, so they will be cycling through very, very quickly. Now, a Seongnam ROX fan just saying, you know, it's easy to just maintain your spot, right, in third place. We'll see if they can do so. You know, they're going to have to make sure that they win here. And if they win here, no matter the scoreline, if it's an ace match or a 2-0 in the overall sets, ROX will be locked in for third place. And that will mean that MIRAENSEJONG will be locked in as well. So Desperado doing everything they can right now. MIRAENSEJONG also rooting for Desperado's upset here, as that gives them an opening to try to climb all the way up to third place.
Yeah, For sure, it would be more interesting if Desperado was able to win against ROX, because then a lot of the other matches end up affecting the standings for postseason. But as a ROX fan, you definitely want them to just play well today, like how they've been doing the whole season, basically. They just need to win against an amateur team that has never beaten a professional team before in order to maintain their third place. And like you said, Will, between 4th and 5th place in the wildcard match, the only advantage there is maybe getting to pick your tracks first. But being in 3rd place, that's a completely different level of advantage.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you get more of a break to prepare for the postseason, the playoffs. Obviously, you get to watch another match of your potential opponent that will be coming up from the wildcard match and things like that. I mean, you know, one less chance to be eliminated, so to speak. So tons of advantages there for 3rd place. That's the big one that Seongnam ROX is fighting for. And for Desperado, I mean, 3rd place, it's out the window now. It's just a matter of 4th or 5th, the seeding within the wildcard match. They are now locked into that. But in some ways, you know, they kind of have an indirect effect on who their opponent could potentially be as well, right? Because if they lose here, it's locked in for MIRAENSEJONG. But if they win here, they might have to reface against Seongnam ROX in the wildcard match as well. So still lots of possibilities.
And it seems like we brought in a new keyboard to test if things are working. And based on Lens's expression there, it seemed like it was a bit like they didn't get the reaction they wanted, but like they brought in a new keyboard, so it's gotta work, right?
Wow, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Meanwhile, we do see a fan zooming in on the Korean casters. They have been able to get on stage now here for the very first official season of the KDL. And that's always a good time, right? Because even before that, as we were testing things out here in the KDL, of course, the Korean casters were also in a separate studio, but now able to interact with the Korean fans here. And hopefully one day we can interact with our global fans in a venue as well. Rock, paper, scissors. Oh, with some slaps, though. Listen, if I had to guess, Looning's the guy who does this all in friendly banter until you slap him just a bit too hard, and the next time he wins, he just completely puts you into orbit in the sky, right? I can see it in his face. He's just waiting for that chance to strike back.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I wouldn't want to be the guy to mess with Looning. He's great at kart rider drift, and even in real life, he looks like a fearsome man that you don't want to be on his bad side for. And our fans coming in for Desperado as well.
This fan came prepared, yeah. They came with that extra battery, which is already down to 92%, so I don't know how long that sign's been on, but they are draining that power real quick. And, you know, ideally, the issue gets resolved soon, because I don't think they would have brought 2 batteries. I think just one is usually what most people will deal with.
The fan definitely doesn't want their phone to dry out on them before the match can even end. And I love this new keyboard, though. The aesthetics of that, I've not seen one like that before.
You know, keyboards are something that I always find very amusing and cool. You know, I have all the respect for people, you know, who have their own, basically, so to speak, designer keyboards. But I just do not have the patience to get my own, like, keycaps and do all that. Like, I've tried getting into switches as well, and I understand the differences, and I've tried different switches, but not enough for me to really be picky about it. Are you particular about your keyboards?
No, my keyboard is from back in like 2010, and I just keep using it because my hands are used to it, you know? That's what matters to me.
Heck yeah, I mean, that is the most important thing. For anyone, you know, even in kart rider drift, you know, if you're thinking like, well, you know, maybe if I got a better keyboard, I get better, you know, time trial scores, I'm just going to tell you right away, like, that's probably not the biggest thing you should change. You should probably just practice your build better. You know, it can matter at the top of the leaderboard, but, you know, but it's cool to have, though. It's a nice way to express yourself. I've seen some crazy keyboards throughout my years, so I have all the respect for it. And I think they look good. I just don't have the patience for it.
Look at those moves on the keyboard. He's just flying on them without even looking down on the keyboards. Now that's a serious gamer.
Yeah, and this fan came all the way from Jeju Island, so they had to come by plane.
Nice.
Unless they took the boat and then the train, but I would imagine these days, you know, the planes aren't that expensive from Jeju, so I'd imagine they took the plane here.
It sounds way more convenient, so I would pay the premium indeed for a plane rather, and like you said.
It's also like less than an hour by plane, so, you know, so I think, but still, it's a big commitment to come watch some KDL. Maybe one of these days we'll have a KDL event down in Jeju Island, like a finals or something. You know, just throwing something out there for next on the list. You know, just putting it out there. But for now, we are ready for item mode between Seongnam ROX and Desperado on Graveyard Dark Castle. And they are actually off this time. I wanted to make sure all 8 racers were out on the track. And we have begun here in item mode. Now, just as a reminder, since we did have a bit of a delay here, Seongnam ROX, they won speed set, so they are currently leading 1-0 in this match. If they win item mode, they will be taking things clean 2-0.
And this is a 2-star difficulty track, so we don't have any of the new items sticking around. As we can see, the inventory for the players, there are a lot of defensive and offensive options. Now finally a Magnet and an Angel comes into play, and we'll see how they switch up the field.
Yeah, just keeping my eyes on the items here. Seongnam ROX doing fairly well for themselves as well, picking up a lot of these double items and just trying to cycle things through. Now, it seems they're quite aware of the attack frequency of Desperado, you know, holding on to the EMPs for when they might need it, but they just cycle through that as Desperado now playing a bit of defense as they're holding on to first place quite steadily.
FreeSky doing a great job with that so far, and Promise is there to back him up as well. So you can see Boom holding on to a Water Wisp, but he wants to target in the most opportune moment, so he's held on to that.
Yeah, now FreeSky still has double shield. No reason to cycle that out just yet. I mean, that's some solid defense you can have. Sure, you can't block the UFOs, but you've got some teammates, in fact, 2 of them right behind you to provide support. So this is fairly good. FreeSky completely clotheslines his opponent off the track. Oh, talk about sweeping. There's a good example of that in item mode. Now, Boong is still going to be able to do some recovery for his team, but FreeSky's just trying to slow him down, make sure his teammates can catch up. Desperado, it looks like they have a plan ready to set into action here in the 3rd lap.
And beautiful item usage there by FreeSky. He is going to get slowed down by this UFO. Now, Navi, hot on his tails. He's going to pop that shield, but he only has an Angel left, and he didn't pop that one this time.
Yeah, still saving it for a potential wombo combo coming out from Desperado, but the big thing is Lens, he had double boost, he used one, he still has a second one, and there's nothing that can really stop him just yet. Just a UFO in Banana's hands. We'll see if that comes into play. Oh, we're going to see the Wisp start to come in through that teleporter. Lens does have double shield and a Guardian Angel. He's already used that one Nitro Boost, and nothing can stop him as he crosses the finish line for Seongnam ROX. They will be taking the lead here in item mode.
Lens with a beautiful finish there. He was able to identify that his opponents didn't really have an answer to him speeding off with the Nitrous in the end. FreeSky, he's done a great job the whole entire game, but near the end there, he just didn't have the inventory to shut down ROX.
Yeah, I mean, it just seemed like they weren't, you know, Desperado just didn't get as much attack power as they wanted in that 3rd lap, right? They had already cycled through everything, but Seongnam ROX was starting to really keep up in items. And then as Desperado was trying to regain some tempo and control the overall field, Seongnam ROX just said, okay, like whatever, we have double boost. They don't seem to have any more attacks right now. No one's getting targeted, so let's just wait for a timing. Lens makes the right call, and that gives them that round win.
That round win is going to be huge for Seongnam ROX because Desperado, they really need to win this item mode if they want to go to ace. But now round 2 starts here on Polar Half-Pipe. And we get into the track. This is a 2-star difficulty level, so we are not going to have those crazy items, and we're going to see a lot of usage of water bombs, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, especially, you know, towards that jump here for the potential shortcut, and then at the end of the track, right around that U-turn, there's a couple options, you know, where it does get just narrow enough. I mean, there's ways to get around it here in the half pipe. You can ride along the edges and you won't get hit, but of course you would lose a little bit of speed. Striker just choosing to use the shield there as he isn't able to escape the water bomb in time. So far, nothing too crazy. Now, this is one of those tracks, though, where you can make a big timing play in the last lap, so we can't assume anything until we get to lap 3.
And due to those timing plays, Banana has been holding on to his double angel for quite some time, and it's a bit concerning to me because he's giving up a lot of his own tempo, but you can see Banana, he's really just taking that role right now as the team's guardian angel, essentially.
Yeah, and it does seem like Desperado, the rest of the team as well, everyone, you know, if they have a shield, they just say, okay, hold on to one, just cycle the other. However, this is unlike the stats that we've seen from Desperado throughout the regular season so far. Now, as we can see on the minimap, quite a bit of a tempo advantage for Seongnam ROX. We haven't seen it last all the way to lap 3 here on Polar Half Pipe, and we actually see Na'Vi slowing things down after the UFO just a bit. But Desperado, we enter, you know, into that 3rd lap. They're going to have to start to play catch-up against Na'Vi, who has double shield.
Yeah, Striker was applying a lot of that pressure, trying to keep up with the pack of ROX. And those double shields you mentioned, Will, they've been gone through pretty fast, and now he's been caught up to. So Desperado back on the field.
Yeah, boom. He actually uses his boost, but he's going to get slowed down. He's not going to have that speed to get onto the shortcut, but Led still had his, so he's able to land up here on the top track. Now, Free Sky still has a nitrous boost. Nothing to stop him just yet. No UFOs, no magnets in sight. Free Sky actually has a magnet of his own as well, so he can use that defensively if he needs. Oh, no! He bumps against the wall! Cannot find an angle for his items. Not able to regain control after the spin out, and Seongnam ROX will be leading 2-0.
Free Sky had the ideal setup there, the magnet and the boost, and he was looking unstoppable until the attacks came in and he fell off the track. And that was just the worst thing possible for Desperado because they didn't have an answer to that one, and Seongnam ROX, they're leading here 2-0 on item. The fans, they must be expecting a clean day for Seongnam ROX by now.
I mean, they look dominant. Sure, this time, you know, Free Sky, it was a bit of a timing where he just was not able to, you know, get his boost off to escape that attack before, you know, going off into that corner, hitting that wall. But the chances of you spinning out into that sliver of a corner around the last quarter pipe is so slim to none. I mean, you can't possibly predict that.
Yeah, it's really difficult, and that's how well played it was by Seongnam ROX there. And honestly, if ROX can beat Desperado out in item and 3-0, that's a fantastic way to go to postseason. And now we're going to track 3 to find out if ROX can make that 3-0 happen in the Venice Gondola Tour.
Potential match point for Seongnam ROX, continuing to race in red against Desperado in blue. Desperado, in fact, quite desperate to try to get a round win here to try to take us to an ace match.
Very desperate indeed, especially when you consider the fact that Seongnam ROX, they are quite far ahead here, and the great usage of that water bomb coming out from Looning is going to allow Boom to get even further with this advantage.
Yeah, this is a track where the tempo can really work in your favor. I mean, not many angles to try to target them if they get too far ahead as you continue to swerve back and forth. Lots of these shortcuts as well. Striker falls off, not able to keep control on that shortcut. That's a big one. Now, Banana does get just close enough, so the magnet will come in handy. Boom gonna get slowed down just enough. But Banana now close by, so Boom, he's going to have to keep up his attention to try to make sure he can avoid attacks. Great sirens here from Promise.
Yeah, that was indeed a sick siren. And Banana's a player that loves to be that player to come into the finish line first on a track like Venice Gondola Tour. So you can see him really competing with Boom, but the distance is quite far. He has the missile there, but Boom does have double shield.
Yeah, you got to force those shields out, though, and you got to do it right after you pass some of these items so that they can't recycle. So right now, Boom just a bit vulnerable. Still has one shield in store, though, and he should be restocking it. There it is. Now, it's an EMP. In some ways, that makes it a bit more difficult for Desperado as well.
But the Banana's going to get slowed down by the UFO there, and it seems right now that Desperado's in quite a good spot. They just need to protect Banana, but they don't have an Angel.
Yeah, Na'Vi, he might just be looking to try to end things in a speed fashion, but he's going to get slowed down by that Wisp, and Banana cycles through his shield, gets another one for his troubles as he enters the last sections of this track. Another shield, and Banana and Na'Vi not able to get the block onto Free Sky, and his teammates all just getting stopped with these whiffs, as Striker just keeping everyone tied up in chains with the siren. Banana, it does not matter that he's been UFO'd. He is so far ahead here in the ending of the second lap, finally putting a point on the board for item mode.
Yep, Desperado finally finding a response here in round number 3. And this was a track chosen by ROX, which was pretty ambitious by them because, as I mentioned, Banana is really proficient on the Venice Gondola Tour, as well as his teammates, as you saw there. They bought so much time and room for Banana near the end that it just felt easy for Banana. He has a whopping 4-second lead before Striker, which is his own teammate.
Yeah, I mean, he was set up for absolute success. Had really good defensive items on his own as well, and his teammates able to continue the attacks. But this is where you see that color difference, right? How was Banana able to stay in the lead? It was actually because his teammates were attacking ROX non-stop, where ROX just could not regain speed. Whereas Seongnam ROX, a lot of times it's them defending with their own items to try to maintain that first place. We'll see which one comes out on top as we get ready for round 4 on Factory Cogwheel Crush.
Desperado, their backs are still against the wall. This is still match point for Seongnam ROX. If they win this track, we won't have an ace match, and ROX will keep their 3rd place in standings.
Yeah, Boom just trying to do as much damage as possible with that one siren early on. He'll get a double hit, but not up to a triple as it ends just a second early. Meanwhile, the rest of Seongnam ROX still able to try to keep up. He's got several magnets already in store. I imagine those could be used quite early if need be. As we see right now, Lens actually used it just to catch up, try to maintain a bit more support here in the front lines.
Yeah, Seongnam ROX has a great control in the front lines right now, so Banana is going to pop a magnet, and now he's able to keep up with Lens here. He has a water bomb. Not the best item for being in the front, but he's able to shake off the UFOs.
Yeah, but another UFO comes in. Can't get that double EMP ready for him, so this time it's going to be Promise who just, decides to forego the shortcut. It wasn't going to be there in time for him to take advantage of it, so he will continue to boost forward. He actually did not get an item there, I believe. He actually gets stopped right in between 2 of the item screw bolts, so he's going to have to wait until this next cycle.
Seongnam ROX finding a great response to the strategy of Desperado here. Now it's Boong's role to use these shields to draw a lot of the aggression. And Navi with the great usage of Siren there, he's going to be able to take first just for a moment.
Yeah, but I love what ROX is doing. Seongnam ROX, it's kind of hard to tell if you're Desperado on who they're trying to set up across the finish line near the end, and a great Banana against Banana himself will slow him down. But look at this, Looney, he has an option to cross the finish line with a boost. Lens, he has Magnet and boost combo as well with the Magnet Rush. I mean, Seongnam ROX, they have several options as everyone is still bunched up. So Seongnam ROX is happy to continue to trade places in first place because any one of them could cross the finish line.
Seongnam ROX with a great setup here. Banana is trying to be the hero right now. His teammates are coming up to support him, but Banana, he's only got a magnet. He can be targeted out real easily.
Yeah, and we do have a Thunderbolt on Promise, but the Guardian Angel for Boom, the timing is going to be crucial. Lens is going to get slowed down, but Navi, he's got the Magnet Rush. He's trying to draw out some of these attacks, and there comes the Guardian Angel, but that's a little too early because you still have the Thunderbolt here from Promise, but another one comes out for Seongnam ROX, and who's it going to be? Lens with the Magnet Rush. In fact, at the very end, will be crossing the finish line and bringing home victory for the Seongnam ROX.
Just like you called it, Will, Seongnam ROX had so many different game plans there. It didn't matter if Navi, Boong, or Looning fell back because they have 4 players there with a very valid winning condition item, and Seongnam ROX able to pull off the 3-1 here in item, the 3-1 in speed. They crushed Desperado today. Yeah,
I really hope this match is one of the ones they end up actually featuring on that Booth Talk episode they have weekly on YouTube, because curious to see. This had to have been just clear comms all through and through to the very last second, just saying, okay, if this is scenario A, this person's aiming to cross the finish line, right? And then you go to plan B, then it's me. Plan C, it's you. Because all of them had that option, but you had to keep trading off that aggro. And with that victory, Seongnam ROX now locked in for red side pick and ban advantage in the lower bracket semifinals for the playoffs.
This was such an important day for Seongnam ROX, and they're able to get the best results, and you can see their fans are very happy to be able to celebrate this great moment with them. And for Desperado, it's unfortunate, but they're not out of postseason contention, so they still have a lot of chances left.
Yeah, I mean, you could still make a miracle run through the playoffs, right? Starting with the wild card match. However, Seongnam ROX has done a very good job of making what could have been an intense and meaningful day into a very simple day, as they've now locked in all the placements for the postseason. 3rd, 4th, and 5th place are all locked in. and MIRAENSEJONG in the coming up match will basically be fighting for their own record against NUTMITE.
MIRAENSEJONG, they're definitely sad right now. They wish Desperado was able to find the comeback. But Seongnam ROX, I mean, what can you say? They were just too clean. It's not like Desperado had a off day or anything. It's just Seongnam ROX being really good.
Yeah, no, Seongnam ROX has also definitely been improving through and through. You know, we talked about Striker on Desperado showing consistent improvement throughout the season, and I would say Seongnam ROX as a team has been doing that quite a bit. When it first started, you know, we all said, okay, you know, Looning still has that Looning power. It's no wonder that he won, you know, the title for preseason 2 in solos in terms of speed racing. However, the overall team, Acidfly still looked a little rough around the edges. Boom looked like it was taking him time to try to regain his composure. Lens, even in item mode, was struggling to keep up with the meta. But now, all of them have found exactly what their roles are here in the team matches, and they're starting to look like a real contender here for the top 2.
That's the thing about Seongnam ROX. They're a really well-balanced team, and after winning in item mode against Desperado today in such a clean fashion, like you said, Will, how you want to hear their comms because their plays were so centered around the communication they were able to maintain throughout the item mode. And with a performance like this, you have to be scared of Seongnam ROX because there's not a lot of different professional teams out there that we can say are having a really clean item mode right now.
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait to see for that in the playoffs, but currently we still have 2 more matches coming up. Right after this one, it's going to be the amateur team NUTMITE trying to put a dent in the record of pro team MIRAENSEJONG. We'll bring you that match right after this break.
You sure deserve a medal. Keep pushing forward, never settle. Never settle. Keep it 100, yeah. On your way to the next level. Next level. And while you're grinding, making dreams come true, sometimes you gotta let your body loose. Time to party, but those dance moves to good use. Let your hands go up, stomp your feet. Let me see you kicking it back on the dance floor. On the dance floor. Feel the beat, electrified. Move your hips side to side on the dance floor. On the dance floor. On the dance On the dance floor. Show up for yourself, never miss a single day. Be about it, let them know that you didn't come to